Buddhāvataṃsaka Sutra. Book 4. The Formation of the Worlds. Video 2. Then the enlightening being universally good also said to the great assembly, Children of Buddha, know that the oceans of worlds have various substances. Some have bodies of arrays of all jewels, some are various ornaments made of all precious substances, some are of lights of all jewels, some are of lights of various colors, some are of lights of various adornments, some are composed of Buddha's powers, some are of characteristics of fine gems, some are made of miraculous displays of Buddhas, some are of jewel sun discs, some are of extremely minute, fine jewels, some are made of radiance of all jewels, some are of various fragrances, some are made of crowns of precious flowers, some are of all jewel reflections, some are made of what is manifested by all adornments, some are made of an instant of mind manifesting the whole cosmos, some are made of jewels in the forms of enlightening beings, some are made of jewel flower pastils, some are made of the spoken sounds of the Buddhas. Then, to repeat this, universally good surveyed the 10 directions by the Buddha's power and said, there are some oceans of worlds compounded of jewels, solid and unbreakable, resting on precious lotus blossoms. Some are pure light beams of unknowable origin. These are rays of all light beams rest in empty space. Some are made of pure light and also rest on light rays embellished with clouds of light where enlightening beings roam. There are some oceans of lands born of the power of vows, existing like reflections, they can't be grasped or explained. Some are made of precious stones emitting sun-like light. Discs of pearls adorn the ground, and enlightening beings abound. Some lands are made of jewel flames, covered with clouds of flames, the radiance of the jewels superb. All comes from results of acts. Some are born of subtle forms, with various features adorning the ground, like crowns holding all jewels. These come from the Buddha's work. Some are born from the ocean of minds, existing according to what the minds understand. Like illusions, they have no locus, all are mental constructions. Some are made of the precious light of the Buddha's aura. All the Buddhas appear therein, each producing miracles. Some universally good enlightening beings produce various oceans of lands, adorned by the power of their vows, all exceptionally sublime. Then the enlightening being universally good also said to the great congregation, know that the oceans of worlds have various adornments. Some are adorned by all ornaments producing beautiful clouds, some by explanations of the virtues of all enlightening beings, some by explanations of the rewards of actions of all sentient beings, some by revelations of the ocean of vows of all enlightening beings, some by representations of the images of all Buddhas of past, present, and future, some by the spheres of occult powers revealing boundless eons in a single moment, some by production of all Buddha bodies, some by production of fragrant clouds of all jewels, some by radiant lights showing the wonderful things in all enlightenment scenes, some by illustration of the practices and vows of all universally good ones. There are as many such adornments as atoms in an ocean of worlds. Then, to repeat, universally good, imbued with the power of the Buddha, looked over the 10 directions and said, the vast oceans of lands are boundless. All are made from pure action, with various adornments and various abodes, they fill all 10 directions. Clouds of jewel flames of boundless forms, vast arrays of adornments, not the same, always appear in all oceans of lands, radiating subtle sounds expounding the truth. Adorned by the various great vows of the enlightening being's boundless sea of virtues, these lands simultaneously produce sublime sounds shaking the network of the lands of the 10 directions. The ocean of beings acts as vast, immeasurable. According to the results they effect, the lands are each. The adornments in all places can tell of this, by the Buddha's powers. The spiritual powers of Buddhas past, present, and future appear throughout the oceans of lands. In each phenomenon all the Buddhas appear, thus do they purify. You should observe. Past, future, and present eons, all lands in the 10 directions, and all the adornments therein, all appear in each land. In all phenomena are countless Buddhas, as many as beings, filling the world. In order to teach they produce mystic effects whereby they adorn the oceans of lands. All the adornments emit beautiful clouds of various flowers and fragrant flames, with clouds of jewels appearing as well. The oceans of worlds are embellished with these. All sites of enlightenment in the 10 directions are complete with all kinds of adornment. Flowing lights spread afar, like clouds of color, all are shown in this ocean of lands. The practice of the vows of the universally good. Buddha children have practiced for eons as many as beings. Boundless lands have they all adorned, all appearing in all places. Then universally good also said to the congregation, know that in the oceans of worlds there are oceans of purifying techniques as many as atoms in an ocean of worlds. That is to say, the enlightening beings associate with all good teachers to cultivate the same roots of goodness. They cause great clouds of virtues to grow, extending throughout the universe. They clarify all their great beliefs. They contemplate the spheres of all enlightening beings and abide therein. They cultivate all means of transcendence and fulfill them. They contemplate all stages of enlightenment and enter them. They produce the ocean of all pure aspirations. They cultivate all practices essential for emancipation. They enter into the ocean of all adornments. They perfect the power of purifying methods. There are as many of these and others as there are atoms in an ocean of worlds. Then, to reiterate, universally good looked over the 10 directions by the power of the Buddha invested in him, and said, the adornments of all oceans of worlds are born from countless techniques, vows, and powers. All the oceans of lands always shine, produced by the power of countless pure deeds. Forever associating with good teachers, together doing good works, all pure, with great compassion extending to all beings, thereby are world oceans adorned. Concentration on all the teachings, meditation, liberation, and skill in means are all purified with the Buddha, thus are the world oceans born. Developing boundless certainty, able to understand like the Buddha, having purified patience and skill in means, thus can boundless lands be purified. Cultivating supreme practices to aid sentient beings, virtue great and always growing, like clouds spreading as far as space, thus are world oceans perfected. The transcending means are infinite, many as beings. All have the Buddha's practice to perfection. Transcendent vow-taking has no end, pure world oceans are born from here. Purely practicing all peerless truths, developing boundless liberating practices, edifying beings by various means, thus are beautified oceans of worlds. Practicing techniques of adornment, entering the ocean of teachings of enlightened virtues, causing all beings to dry up the source of suffering. Thus are vast lands perfected. The ocean of powers is peerlessly great, causing all beings to plant roots of good, making offerings to all the enlightened. Thus are boundless lands all purified. Then universally good addressed the masses again. Buddha children, know that in each ocean of worlds there are differences in the manifestation of the Buddhas, as many as atomic particles in an ocean of worlds. That is, some manifest small bodies, some large bodies, some manifest short lives, some long lives, some only adorn and purify a single Buddha land, some adorn and purify innumerable Buddha lands, some only reveal one vehicle of teaching, some reveal inconceivably many vehicles of teaching, some appear to tame a few sentient beings, some tame boundless sentient beings. Such differences as these are as many as atomic particles in an ocean of worlds. Then universally good, to review, looked over the 10 directions by the power he received from the Buddha, and said, various accommodating methods of the Buddhas appear in all the oceans of worlds, all adapted to the inclinations of sentient beings. This is the Buddha's power of skillful experience. The reality body of the Buddhas is inconceivable, colorless, formless, beyond any image, yet able to manifest myriad forms for sentient beings, causing them to see, according to their inclinations. Some manifest short lives for beings, some appear to live for countless eons. The reality body manifests throughout the 10 directions, appearing in the world according to suitability. Some there are who beautify and purify all the inconceivable oceans of worlds in all directions. And some only purify one single land, yet showing all within that one. Some, according to the mentalities of sentient beings, reveal inconceivably many various vehicles of liberation. Some only expound one vehicle of teaching, yet within that one are revealed innumerable methods. Some there are who, naturally enlightened, cause a few beings to abide in the way. Some can in a single instant awaken countless deluded ones. Some produce mystical clouds from their pores which manifest countless, boundless Buddhas appearing in all worlds, liberating beings by various means. Some there are whose spoken sounds pervade everywhere, explaining truth in accord with mental inclinations of beings, through inconceivably many eons taming oceans of countless beings. Some have infinite beautified worlds, their congregations pure, sitting solemnly, Buddhas like clouds spreading over, filling the oceans of worlds in the 10 directions. The techniques of the Buddhas are inconceivable. All appearing in accord with beings' minds, abiding in various beautified fields, extending throughout all lands. Then universally good again addressed the great assembly, Buddha children, know that the oceans of worlds have as many spans of existence as there are atoms in an ocean of worlds. That is, some abide for an incalculable eon, some abide for an infinite eon, some abide for a boundless eon, some abide for an incomparable eon, some abide for an uncountable eon, some abide for an unspeakable eon, some abide for an inconceivable eon, some abide for an immeasurable eon, some abide for an inexplicable eon. There are as many such spans as atoms in an ocean of worlds. Then, to review, universally good, looking over the 10 directions by the power received from the Buddha, said, among the oceans of worlds are various ages, adorned by vast, extensive technical skills. Observing all the lands in the 10 directions, the differences in the measures of their ages become clear. I see that the eon lengths in the world oceans of the 10 directions are innumerable, same as sentient beings, some long, some short, some are without bounds. I now tell of them, by the Buddha's voice. I see the oceans of lands in the 10 directions, some abide for eons numerous as atoms, some for 1 eon, some for numberless. Each is different, due to the variety of vows. Some are wholly pure, some wholly defiled. Then again, in some purity and defilement are mixed. The structures of the oceans of vows vary, abiding in the conceptions of sentient beings. Having cultivated practices for eons as many as atoms in a land and attained vast and pure oceans of worlds, the Buddha's realm is fully adorned, abiding forever, through boundless eons. Some eons are called light of various jewels, some, mind of radiant eyes, or equal sound, undefiled light, or eon of virtue. These pure eons contain all eons. There are pure eons where one Buddha appears, or in one eon countless Buddhas may appear. With inexhaustible skill in means and great willpower, they enter into all the various ages. Infinite eons may enter 1 eon, or 1 eon may enter many eons. The various aspects of the ocean of all eons clearly appear in the lands of the 10 directions. The adornments of all eons may all appear in 1 eon, or the adornments of 1 eon may enter all boundless eons. From the first moment to the completion of the eon, all is born from the conceptions of beings' minds. All oceans of lands, their eons boundless, are purified by one technique. Then universally good also said to the masses, children of Buddha, you should know that the oceans of worlds have as many differences and changes in the ages as there are atoms in an ocean of worlds. That is, as a consequence of natural law, the oceans of worlds have innumerable changes of the ages, forming and disintegrating. Because defiled beings live in them, the oceans of worlds have changes in the ages, becoming defiled. As a result of having sentient beings who cultivate great virtues living in them, the oceans of worlds have changes in the ages coming to have some purity in the midst of their defilements. As a result of enlightening beings with faith and understanding living there, world oceans have changes in the ages, coming to have more purity than defilement. As a result of innumerable beings there conceiving the will for enlightenment, the oceans of worlds have changes in their ages, becoming totally pure. As a result of enlightening beings traveling in the various worlds, the oceans of worlds have changes in the ages, becoming beautified with boundless adornment. As a result of the enlightening beings of all the world oceans in the 10 directions gathering, world oceans have changes in the ages, becoming beautified with infinite great adornments. Because of the Buddha's passing away into nirvana, world oceans have changes in the ages, their adornments dying out. Because of Buddha's appearing in the worlds, oceans of worlds have changes in the ages, becoming extensively beautified and purified. Because of the mystic powers and edifying miracles of the Buddhas, world oceans have changes in the ages, becoming pure all over. There are as many such changes as atoms in an ocean of worlds. Then, to reiterate, the enlightening being universally good, looking over the 10 directions by the power received from the Buddha, said in verse: all lands are born according to the power of actions. You all should observe the forms of changes as they are. Defiled sentient beings are bound by habitual eon fusions, to be feared. Their minds cause oceans of worlds to all become defiled. If any have pure hearts and cultivate virtuous deeds, their minds will cause oceans of worlds to have purity mixed with defilement. If enlightening beings of faith and understanding are born in the age, according to what's in their minds, purity mixed with defilement will show. When infinite sentient beings determine on enlightenment, their minds will cause world oceans to be pure for that age. When boundless billions of enlightening beings travel to all quarters, adornments, all of them equal, are variously seen through the age. When in each and every atom of Buddha lands as many as atoms enlightening beings gather together, all the lands are pure. When a Buddha passes away, that land's adornments perish. If no beings are vessels of truth, that land becomes defiled. If a Buddha appears in the world, everything is marvelous. In accord with the purity of mind, all adornments are complete. The spiritual powers of the Buddhas are shown in inconceivable numbers. Then the ocean of lands are all totally pure. Then universally good again addressed the assembly, "Children of Buddha, know that there are many ways in which the oceans of worlds are not different, as many as atoms in an ocean of worlds. That is, there is no difference in the number of worlds in each ocean of worlds, being as many as atoms in an ocean of worlds. There is no difference in the powers of the Buddhas appearing in each ocean of worlds. There is no difference in that all enlightenment sites in each ocean of worlds pervade the cosmos in all directions. There is no difference in the assemblies at the enlightenment sites of all the Buddhas in each ocean of worlds. There is no difference in the auras of all the Buddhas in each ocean of worlds pervading the cosmos. There is no difference in the miracles and epithets of all Buddhas in each ocean of worlds. There is no difference in the voices of all the Buddhas in each ocean of worlds pervading the ocean of worlds and abiding forever. There is no difference in the techniques of the teaching cycles in each ocean of worlds. There is no difference in that in each ocean of worlds all oceans of worlds everywhere enter into the individual atom. There is no difference in that in each and every atom of each ocean of worlds are manifest the vast realms of all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. The aspects of the oceans of worlds which are not different are, briefly stated, thus. If they are fully told, there are as many as atoms in an ocean of worlds. Then the enlightening being universally good, to recapitulate, looked over the 10 directions by the power of the Buddha and said in verse. In each atom are many oceans of worlds, their locations each different, all beautifully pure. Thus does infinity enter into one, yet each unit's distinct, with no overlap. Within each atom are inconceivably many Buddhas appearing everywhere in accord with beings' minds, reaching everywhere in all oceans of worlds. This technique of theirs is the same for all. In each and every atom are enlightenment trees, all draped with various adornments in which all lands alike appear. In this all are no different. In each atom are congregations numerous as atoms, all surrounding the leader of humanity, going beyond all, pervading the worlds, yet with no crowding or confusion. In each atom are innumerable lights pervading the lands of the 10 directions, all showing the Buddha's enlightening practices, the same in all oceans of worlds. In each atom are infinite bodies transforming like clouds, circulating everywhere. By mystic Buddha powers they guide all beings, no different in all 10 directions lands. In each atom are expounded many teachings. Those teachings are pure and revolve like wheels. The gates of freedom by various means are all told of, without discrimination. One atom emanates all Buddha's voices, filling those beings who are receptors of truth. Omnipresent in the oceans of worlds for countless eons, These voices too have no difference. The countless beautiful adornments of oceans of worlds all enter inside a single atom. Such mystic powers of the Buddhas all arise from the nature of action. In each atom the Buddhas of all times appear, according to inclinations. While their essential nature neither comes nor goes, by their vow power they pervade the worlds. The end of Book 4.